Kathy Thompson, who has been here for many, many years, and I'm sure many of you, all of you know Kathy and have worked with her over the years. And thank you for your time coming in this morning. So we scheduled two events today, one now, one later on in the afternoon, to hopefully capture the best time that people could come in and meet with me and let me talk with you and listen to you for a little bit of time, and just assure you on a couple of things about services that you're certainly well familiar with here at CCDS. So I just want to run through a little PowerPoint slide, not to bore you, but I put this together with help of the team that's here, and what we're trying to do to move forward, and a few initiatives that we're engaging in with community partners that have helped us over the years. But first, let me just tell you a little bit about myself to sort of reassure you that I just haven't landed from Mars back on January 2nd and walked in here and told Kathy she had to get out of her office. That was not the case. Back in 2003, 2004, someone, it was either Kathy or this lady over here, Cindy Burns, called me. I was working for the state in the technical college system of Georgia, working with businesses in the area, the whole business and economic development. And they wanted to bring businesses in here, which then eventually became Quantum. And as that got up and running, and I then, they asked me to be on their board, and we certified the name Quantum, and we got things up and running, and so hopefully helped out there to do some things that perhaps many of you are familiar with that go on over in Quantum. After several years, I was honored again by Kathy asking me to be on the CCDS board, and so I served 2 or 3 terms, whatever the amount of time is there, on the board, and then left the board just because I sort of timed out by the bylaws last May. Early in 2016, Kathy said that she was going to retire, and after 40 years, certainly my hat's off to her, and contributing 40 years of anyone's life to an organization is just very honorable and amazing to me. And so I threw my hat in the ring and was very fortunate enough to be selected to replace her. I spent over 13 years in the post-secondary system. So as an educator of people who are going out into the workforce, 2-year college. Prior to that, I was in business. I worked for a corporation up in Atlanta that built circuit boards for our cars and trucks, is essentially what it did. And always had the passion for education and the business side of things, and working more directly with people. And so when they decided to move to a foreign country, I decided not to follow them and return to Savannah to go into post-secondary education. And I say return to Savannah because even before that, I was 20 plus years in the Army, and having served at Fort Stewart for quite a few years. My family probably didn't see me a lot. Like many people, I was at other places in the world that we still seem to like to visit as military people. So I was involved in that for quite a few years. So that's sort of my checkered past, combination of military and business and education that finally got me here to CCDS. And I could not be more thrilled to be here working with our clients and the wonderful team that is here. So with that little bit of introduction and background, my purpose is really to show you feedback and answer your questions about where CCDS is going. We're always watching actions, particularly involving funding, as all of us do in our personal lives, about what all that's about. Certainly, it's more important we have a basic control of the whole administration and what's all that going to do, particularly in our area here. So let me just run through a couple slides, and at the end I'll open it up for conversation and questions, and perhaps even eat more cookies. So what I am about, what the agency is about, is affecting the workforce. The ultimate goal always is employment of some kind, and there's a lot of ways to define that. Where the system as a whole is moving, and has been for several years, is to put people with disabilities in the workforce. There should be no difference whatsoever with any of us, with any of them, and there shouldn't even be a we versus them. There should just be a workforce. And CCDS has been very successful in doing that. And each one is different, each person is different, each job is different, each employer is different. And where I see us going is, if we're doing 50 people or 75 people, let's make it 300 people. Let's make it 400 people. Let's make people doing. I'm amazed every day going through Quantum at breakfast or lunch and talking with individuals of how much they want to work. That's their favorite word. I want to work. And obviously we can define that in a couple different ways. So we're all about affecting the workforce that is out there. And so we'll go through a couple things here. Some of this you already know about, and I apologize if it's repetitive, but I wanted to just make a couple points about each area. So in a broad sense, we are organized right now in these three areas. So we have community employment. Cindy Burns is the director of that area, and that individual who gets referred to us goes out into the workforce, and we provide lifetime support for that individual. We work with the employer. We were fortunate enough here recently with the state agency and also a local employer, IKEA, who wants to hire 4 individuals. And that's a big number. It doesn't seem like a big number for all at one time. That's a big number. And we're very excited about that. We want to make sure we do it correctly and thoroughly to make sure that's a success for everybody involved. But that is exactly what CES does. And they provide great training for that individual and make sure that connection, that bridge between us, the individual, and the employer is absolutely rock solid. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. Quantum, that many of you are familiar with that name, prior to me joining the team in this position, the 2 boards, Quantum and CCDS, were combined. And that was decided upon by both boards with legal advice. And so although Quantum in its nature is still doing what it does, the actual name itself is going to go away. But the service it's doing is certainly going to be there. In fact, we're going to enhance it, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. So we're still working out the public relations communication side of what that name is. The people like to call that branding. And what are we going to be known as? So we're still working there, but essentially, someone that's in pre-vote, as we like to call it, is over there gaining very valuable training experience. Now, that person might be there for a while. They might only be there for a little bit of time, and then jump over into the community employment. And obviously, as you well know, there's a lot of decisions and a lot of discussions that have to go on about that. Is it correct for the individual? Is it the right thing to do? But that person over there, its focus is to be trained on many, many things. To anticipate a question that I have seen, and I'll be very honest with you, I'll tell you I'm an open book. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. What is going on over there in some cases is not acceptable. There are some things that we're doing there that is really not value to the individual. We try hard, our people try hard, but we've got to get more training in there for that person. It's that simple. And what that is, what that looks like, I have some ideas, the team has some ideas, but again, the goal of that training is to enhance their skills, to enhance their capabilities to go to work, pure and simple. So that's the real business of what's going on over there. Then in Dayhab, as we like to call it, that's the third leg of the stool. And people are over there, and we are working very, very hard to make that as beneficial and experiential as possible. And the whole business of what we now call community access groups, of getting people out into the community to experience a wide variety of interests, is outstanding. And I think we're just beginning to experiment in that area and try some different things, to get them out into some cooking classes or some swimming type arrangements is what we're trying to work on. And we even went and looked in the equestrian area to see if we can get something going in that area. So we're wide open for ideas to get them out of the gym and into the community. And that's what we're really trying to do, and we've got some great partners that we're trying to do that. But in terms of this three areas, if you think about a person who, for whatever reason, has come into Dayhab and then potentially could move to training to Prevoke, then into the community. Now, that is the mark on the wall. That's the vision. That's the long term. Is that going to happen? I'm sure it is going to happen in some cases. How many people? I have no earthly idea. But I would work very hard every day to have every opportunity in those three areas for our clients. And that's my promise to you, that's my commitment to you, and we're going to make that as engaging and as entertaining and as meaningful to that individual as they move through that model. Now, to the employment world out there, to businesses, we obviously need to partner with them. The laws, if you will, the policies, we cannot hire our own clients. If I could do that, I've got several jobs that they would fit into right away. We're not allowed to do that. Okay, so let's back up and rethink that. So I need to put them in businesses. That's what a lot of people want to do. You know that as well as I do. They're your sons and daughters, your relatives, your family members. You know what they want to do, and you know what they're capable of doing. So I'm trying my best, after 35 days on the job, to put my face out there along with my team and say, look, we can be a part of your workforce. So personally, I get a little frustrated sometimes when I see unemployment rates, and I drive around the area just like you, and I see signs, and now hiring, forever hiring, please do you want to work? You know, we have people who can do many, many, many of those jobs. And so we're trying to get out there, and we need their help. We obviously work with them. That's again in Cindy's area there. Yvonne, who's over in Dayhab, and of course Wanda over in Quantum. Again, working with those individuals, moving through those three areas. We're going to do what that company wants done. Is there some customization? Is there some accommodations? Of course. And we've got some companies that really do very well at that. And they're very excited about it. What I'm trying to do is scale it up. So instead of, again, 40 or 50 people, let's make it 500 people. My model that I've been in conversation with, and I made all the directors read this gentleman's book, was he was the senior vice president for Walgreens. His son had autism. He knew the personal challenges that he had, but he also knew the business side. And so they built a distribution center in Anderson, South Carolina, and there was roughly 900,000 people going to be employed. We've got plenty of distribution centers in the Savannah area. We have the IKEAs, we have the Targets, we have the Home Depot, we have the Lowe's. I've been in all of them. Dollar Tree. Same thing with Walgreens. And so they carved out, of that 1,000, their initial goal was 100 people with disabilities. And they partnered with organizations like CCDS. Yeah. Very, very successful. In fact, there are 6 of them around the country now with a variety number of, quote, slots that they work with agencies for people with disabilities. And it's 3 jobs that they have identified and they've been very, very successful with. And that in their payroll, earning career wages, and we're trying to take a trip up there to actually see what they did, some of the phone calls with people, and I think that's what they did. So what I do is we're working hard to get that same commitment out of companies being out there, and we can do exactly the same thing.
Clark, one of them. For the last 5 years, he has been working for the Chatham County Clerk of Superior Court.
But I ain't gonna tell you no lie. I couldn't read too well till I started working here, and I learned it using more reading. I'm using skills that I never know I had.
He learned those skills through the Coastal Center for Developmental Services. He's one of 175 clients with disabilities working at 70 different job sites who are contributing to our community at Gulfstream, the airport, the hospitals, just about everywhere you can think of. He says it's making him a better person.
I used to have low self-esteem about myself because when I was in high school, I felt kind of segregated with the kids, and they used to tease me. And since I got out of high school, I had got out, the little bubble that I was, and I go out there and just talk to people.
The value of a person should not be determined by their status, their salary, or their stereotype, but their passion, their purpose, and their dedication to making a contribution.
Who would not hire BJ? Who would not want BJ? And we've got numerous great examples of this, and we could sit here and watch them all day long, and they're fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Now, some of the training areas over there, and I go back and I will say it a gazillion times, is training, training, training. Learning skills, learning capabilities. Obviously, what I call skills of the job, but then also the softer side of skills that we hear from employers all the time. Teamwork, dressing correctly, timeliness, following a schedule, transportation, all those sort of things we needed to incorporate over there. And these are the areas that over time we've done very, very well with. You can go over there, you can see it, you can see the success right in front of you. The whole business of the culinary catering area. And let me just stop for a second here if I can learn how to do this thing. That gentleman right there, Sydney, or an announcement about Sean. So Sean's been here for a while.
I don't know if his mother knows this yet.
Oh! Oh my goodness! I am so sorry.
Guess what? We found out yesterday that Sean will be, the manager's interested in meeting Sean to work at Dollar Tree. Every time I walk over there, Sean says, in the way Sean speaks, is, I want to work, I want to go. And so every time, and he's like, please, do it. And his mom, we've been talking about this out there. And so every time any of us walk over, this has been a dream of his, and we took him yesterday, and they're very excited about meeting your son, Sean. And so he is going to be working, we think, at the Dollar Tree a couple of days a week. working competitive in the community. So congratulations to Sean. So every day, yesterday the girls came in. Since I've got the floor, I want you to know it's not Dr. 4 people had opportunities yesterday to go to work. And so we are very excited about this. But we all have to open our minds to a new day. So back to Dr. Ken.
Yep, wonderful. And you know your family members, we are to know people. I remember Sean 10, 12 years ago when he was part of the catering team that would come over to a campus that I was running at the time, and he was helping out with some Gulfstream business. And so it's one of those things that you never forget, and you establish a relationship with someone, and it's just fantastic. So everyone's extremely happy there. ErgoWell is a name. That's something that we're doing about ergonomics, and we've stumbled upon a couple real simple devices that help people do their jobs in different businesses. That's continuing to grow, and we're really working those products so that it benefits people who are doing different things. And we were talking recently, Valerie Dixon, our sales rep over in Quantum, was talking to Cintas, and they have placed an order to build certain items in that area. So that's just well. We've got some great people in the area helping us there. In our packaging area and also our specialized area, kind of the same thing, but just doing different jobs. A lot's going on there. The specialized assembly, I always like to tell people that they're very familiar with Gulfstream industry. Do I have Gulfstream employees in here at all? Okay, fabulous company, do great things for our area. $60, $70 million jet, and we make the wiring harnesses. And I think that's just a great thing to brag about and to tell people about. And with JCB, the tractor company out on 95, the British company, and we're going to do some wiring harnesses for them. And in our printing shop, that is limited. It's got limited capacity there, but they do a lot of great work. And if you haven't seen the T-shirts and the napkins and the cups and all sorts of promotional type items, it's just fantastic. And all we can do there is more. We're only limited by our imagination on what they can do. So they are not only doing, and obviously that helps a funding stream for us, but they're learning and gaining skills so that at some point, if the opportunity presents itself, and if everything is aligned in terms of permissions and family, that they go out and they do those skills in a business that's out in the community itself. So all sorts of things there. And I've seen things change over the time. We can continue to add functions. We can take away functions. We can do what we want over there. And we're very fortunate to have that building and do those things so that if, in fact, just to go way out on the limb, we turn that building into a business ourselves. And we make it what they call an integrated community employment. So it's not really a service of CCDS, it's Acme Corporation or the ABC company or whatever it is, and we're doing things with lots of people. And that's on the agenda as well. We have gone out to companies, and for whatever reason, they want us to do something, we'll bring the business here. We've got a great building, got great people, got the right equipment that's over there, and we'll do that work for them. Again, very productive skills again on how to do whatever that function is, and that's just some of the examples that we've done there.
Most of the people here have disabilities and have faced huge challenges early in life, but CCDS proudly welcomes them to their team. A treasure of human potential is here. They're trained to look.
We put aside ahead of time with the condiments, and we let them weigh them after they actually prep it and cut it.
They're trained to wire harnesses for different companies. Depending on what the engineering orders for, they will be putting pins on wires. And they use scrap material from Gulfstream planes to make footrests.
The ones that we sold to Gulfstream employees, they love them.
Does it help with your posture?
They have the will to accomplish what many may think is impossible. All ambitious people with different levels of disabilities.
So, great examples of what's going on over there. One last thing that we have done, we don't do a lot of this, but we have done it, is we'll go out to that company. And they'll give us a space, they'll say, here's what I want done. They say, here's the standards, here's what the quality checks are, and we'll do the work. And it might be for, I don't know, a couple of weeks, might be for a couple of months. Either way, we're doing work. And we're doing productive work, and we're teaching and training while we do it. So yes, there is a money side of the house that we watch. Companies are paying us to do that, and it helps us to do more training and to provide more services. But it's the training and it's the lifelong skills that the individual is learning that's really paramount. And they have, I never want to exclude them. They're doing absolutely great work over there. As far as I'm personally concerned, they're doing the Lord's work over there, and great success. And the more we can do and make that engaging for them is absolutely the way to go. We don't want someone just to be over there for the day and engaged with our people only. That's good, it's a great start, but it's a start. So the more we can integrate different functions and different skills for people to do, that's outstanding. If they can then move over into quantum and then move out into the community, that's even better. That's perfect. And we certainly understand that. And we're doing a lot of new things out in the community with that group of people. So hats off to Yvonne over there who's running that whole service. Just some companies that you might see or recognize. My point on showing this to businesses is it's widespread. So when I'm talking to a business leader out there, I don't want them to think, you know, why'd you come to me? Well, we're coming to everybody. So we're not going just manufacturing or warehousing or aerospace or food ports or gas stations or hotels. It's everything. And this is just an example of companies that we've done over time. Now, it might not have been the direct employment. It might have been the mobile team. It might have been that we brought work in here. The answer to all of that is yes. Okay, we'll do it all. And that's perfectly acceptable to us. Art classes, fire safety training. I've had one of those suits on before, they're quite heavy. We're investigating the whole aspect of pets, whatever that turns out to be. Certainly we will always keep safety in mind, and interacting with animals. It's been proven over time about what dogs do. We've seen lots of examples in hospitals, and people have individual comfort animals and things, and it's just phenomenal what people do with animals. And so Humane Society can be a big help. And some cooking classes. So maybe some of this we can do here as we get training programs up and running. We'll continue to use outside sources. They're great people to partner with. And that's Cindy that you heard. Here in the back we have a whole wide range of people. So Kim Bars, our director. What is your title of Director of Day Services? Kim's people with her case managers, they're the interface to the state agencies. So they're the first ones that are going to talk to people about the individual coming to us. They're down there really selling our services. And they're involved in that individual plan of what that individual is going to do, so that then they come and either go directly into direct services or over into Quantum or into Day Hab. So that's that's the interface, and also the interface with all of you initially, to the family members. Felicia's back there. Felicia's our HR manager and takes care of all that administrative stuff on the side that any company has to do. Miss Kendra, well, right there, in terms of, she's the money lady. So I say that with a big smile on my face because she does a great job of doing that stuff. And so who else do we have? Let's just go around, and Jessica, so why don't you introduce yourself and just tell everybody what you do.
I'm Jessica Patton. I'm one of the case managers here. And I've been here about 1.5 years, and this is an amazing organization to work for, and I'm just very happy that I got the board this year.
Hi, I'm Leanne Kroll. I recently became a case manager. If anyone knows, Mark retired, so I ended up taking his position. So if any of your individuals have Mark on their caseload, please come up and say hi to me so I can meet you guys and help.
And came from?
I came from Cleveland, Ohio.
Skimming snow, she told me one day.
Good morning, I'm Millicent Newkirk. I'm new to the agency also, but not new to the field. I see some of the parents that I've worked with before in the past, and I'm very excited about the direction we're going in here at CCDS.
We have Kristen over there hanging in the corner.
I'm Kristen Wigley. I'm a community employment specialist, so I help find jobs in the community and training, and I've been here about 2.5 years.
And up here, this nice lady who is filming me or doing something that I'm getting nervous about.
I'm Amanda Lewis. I'm a production assistant, and I assist with the photography, graphic design, newsletters, public image.
So we all went to a Facebook class yesterday of streaming, and I openly admit I'm even if there's something beyond novice, I'm beyond that when it comes to social media. So they're all teaching me all that stuff. So about how to stream it, and that's what Amanda is doing right here. So anyone there, is pitch. That's and go from here. I can't tell you again how thankful I am to be here. And for all of you to come today. This is a great turnout, and I truly appreciate it. We are an open book. I think we've always been an open book. I don't believe in secrets. And so if people want to investigate some things, or let's go down this road of talking about something, that's fantastic. I'll steal a great idea from anybody. Any questions or thoughts on your mind at this point? Yes, ma'am.
Hello. The question that I have is transaction. How easy and how fluidly would the transaction be coming from this particular environment she's in now, going to, like, I did see Kohl's, I seen Garden City, and I seen Salvation Army, and I've known myself, because I do visit Garden City, Salvation Army, and things like that, even different grocery stores, and I've seen disabled people. You know, I always say all my men and women, but anyway, I'm a retired nurse. I'm just saying. Anyway, what I'm saying is, I've seen very good outcome, very good outcome, and I'm hoping that the transaction will be the same for my daughter to do that. So how would the transaction in fast?
Well, that's a very, very good question. First, I'm going to get you retired, so I probably use a different term there, but there's no one set answer that I could give you. And it involves all of this that's ongoing. So, time-wise, I would say that's up to the individual, clearly. And what does that individual want to do? What do you as a family member want them to do? I would say that we would be all ears to listen to that and then work towards that goal. I think globally, without talking to any of you, that the ultimate goal is as they say, above minimum wage job in the community. Integrated employment. That's the terminology. I want your daughter to be out there doing what she wants to do, right alongside anyone else. There could be other challenges involved, that's true. We'll handle them along with you. So as someone who is either in Quan right now in pre-vocational, wants to go out and get a job, I assure you that Cindy and everyone in here and all her job specialists are working with companies every day to find those jobs. The hardest challenge, and I know I'm probably preaching to the choir here, is to convince those business owners that your sons and daughters can do the work. That's number one challenge. And we've got plenty of people that likes to say, okay? And right now, as I look at it, it's still onesies and twosies. You know, it's almost like I'll take a chance. I'll believe you. I'll take a chance. And maybe later on they'll say, this is fantastic. I'll take a second person. What I want them to do is take 50 or 60. So as I've told everyone here, what I want to do is I want to go to the state and say, I've got so many employers who want to hire people. You've got to give me more people and more money. Don't send people someplace else for services. Send them here to us because we'll get them employed. That's my fantasy dream. Okay, I want to drive to Atlanta to Judy Fitzgerald, who's the new commissioner. I'm sure she's a lovely person. I've never met her. Very experienced, but I want to go in and just say more. We've got the model here. We know how to do this. And so hopefully I'm not being too evasive. I don't have a specific thing there, but obviously every person should be treated individually. Other circumstances are.
And then the other question is the time frame. I see she would be taken from here into out in the world to be an independent person. Mm-hmm. The question I have is, I know she has a one-on-one coach here. Mm-hmm. Would the one-on-one coach completely, just let her go on her own? Would they stand by her until she can get comfortable? Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. That's our commitment. There'd be the training piece because we want. No matter what the employer tells us that they want the person to do, we want to make sure they can do it. And so there's a training aspect there. And again, send these people, they go out there and they might spend a month, 8 hours a day, whatever the time requirement is, to make sure the individual is comfortable and doing it and the employer is comfortable.
Can I get Norm to comment on that? Because that was the same concern you had. And I get paid to say it, you don't.
Thank you. Yes, our daughter is very successfully integrated within the employment at McDonald's in Richmond Hill, doing the skills, doing the steps, fulfilling a real need within that business. That includes, refreshing the condiments, be it cleaning of the spill, be it sweeping beneath tables,